All right. Hey, good evening, guys. Currency with a twist. I'm here, as you can see, with Delta, and Delta wanted to bring us some more information about some things we've been talking about pertaining to deletion of the three zeros and some corruption talk and stuff. Real quick before we get started and Delta gets going, I know on the last show after Delta had hung up, I had voiced my opinion about other gurus and how I just voiced how I felt, guys, and it comes from a place of caring. I wasn't trying to berate or be mean to subscribers. I just want you guys to know that there's people out there that don't have your best interest at heart. They don't really care as much as they claim they do, and I just want that to be transparent. So I'm sorry if I came across as rude or ugly. It wasn't my intention to offend or upset anybody. You know what I mean? I just care. I care immensely. I care about you. I care about your families. I care about all that. All right. And I apologize if I come across as, rash or too abrupt, but I care. And I just want to say that I apologize if I offended you guys or made you mad in any way. It was coming from a place of good intention and concern. But anyway, now that that's over, Delta, how are you, my brother?
I'm good. I'm good. Greeting everybody. Everything is good, my friend. And just to talk about the same subject you're talking about, I just would like to make something very clear here that we do have the love, the respect to every form right around us. But when we're talking about the disagreement here, we're not talking about personalities. We're not talking about those people, right? We're talking just about the disagreement. We're all here for the same goal, right?
Yep.
And then it's all up to you, like to the audience, to judge, like decide which side you're going to take, right? But our job is here to give you the right and the truth and the right information. Has nothing to do with personality. We're not talking about personalities here. I know everybody got a good people, good heart. Everybody's good. But the only difference we have in here, the disagreement, and we're just trying to give you the right information, the correct information. And Carl, like I said last time too, my purpose was behind all this. Believe me, I'm not going to benefit anything out of that, but I love to help a lot of people because there's a lot of new people. They want more information. They want to make sure, like, you give them the right information and they're in the right direction. So that way, you don't want them like to get confused, to get lost, and then they put all their hype in, right? And that what's going to happen because it really did happen to us in the past too. I mean, we put our hopes up so many times,
Right.
it's going to happen this week and happen next week. And then we got to the disappointment, and that disappointment is really, really very bad. So that's the reason, Carl and I, we coming to you here just to give you the right information. Again, you don't have to believe us, but at least what I do ask you for, at least you consider that. And then whatever we're telling you right now, you can see like the proof coming up every time we talk about it. So let's go back now to the article, Carl, that basically I did send you. I'm not sure if anybody posted this article, which is I really doubt it, because it does approve what I was talking for the last 4 years, and what you're talking about the last two, basically YouTube conference call you and I call,
Mm-hmm.
which is one of the deputy on the parliament. She came up with the article. It's in Somalia News, and she stated that because of the currency auctions, Iraq, they're losing $21 billion worth of money because of that and because of the corruptions. And what she's talking about here, she's talking about something very important that it's so funny because I was talking about this too all the time, Carl. She's talking about the central bank of Iraq, the government, they know about it, but it looks like there's very high official, like very high, let's say, like what do you call them, or influences politicians. They
Mm-hmm.
control that, and she's basically asking why they're not doing something about it, right?
Right.
And then she's talking about they're the ones that they're controlling those basically numbers. And so just think about it, Carl. And this is actually is very important article because if you really look at it, and this might answer a lot of questions that we all the time we ask, right? Why are they not lifting the three zeros? Why Iraq they're not moving forward
Mm-hmm.
to basically lift the three zeros and accept Article 8? Don't you want to do that? But this article talking about the $21 billion theft. By the way, because I cannot show you the link here. I mean, we're just talking here. But if you go to El Somalia News, which is that's one of the Iraqi newspaper, you just can Google 21 billion theft because of the auctions and etc. You'll see it right there. And this
I'll
lady,
post
she's
it.
talking about step by step call about this basically article. And by the way, I did send it to Carl. I'm not sure if you can show it to the family a little bit. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to do that. But regardless, right there is showing you that whatever we talk about, Carl, for the last like two times, you and I, and then for the past 40 years when I was all the time emphasizing that those corrupted, the politicians, especially the one that they're gaining out of that, they're the one that they keep delaying. Right? You're gonna have some people they wanted to do it, but unfortunately, this is what's going on here. Imagine if you're making $21 billion, you and your group of people. I mean, of course, they don't want to lifting the 3 zeros to take place because now you're not going to make this kind of money anymore.
Right.
So
You're
the
just
same thing
cutting.
right now you're talking about, Carl. This is what's going on in this article. Did you have any kind of opinion in this article,
I,
Carl?
I I did. I mean, it just further goes to the point, as you were saying, all the way back to one of the first shows about corruption when Pimpy was with us. Why would they shut their money supply off? I mean, this article right here calls it out. You know what I mean? It really puts a spotlight on a lot of the issues that we're facing behind this investment and why this investment hasn't come to fruition. Because it's probably not just people in Iraq doing it in the government. I'm sure that there's somebody in America that's got their hand out that's looking the other way while this stuff's going on.
And that's absolutely the point here. And you can see from the article too, there's some good people, like some really patriot people, but the problem is they don't have the power. Like for example, for this lady to come out and talk about it very clearly, right? I mean, to have basically the guts to do it and not to be afraid, because you know how it's in Iraq. If you do something like that, they'll assassinate you. Like what happened to Alawi, if you remember, he was about to come up with so many documentations about who was involved in the corruption, and everything, and they assassinated him, they killed him. So this is what's going on as something is really very important in Iraq to do that. And
Right.
despite that, I mean, you see all the good news coming up, and they're trying, right? I mean, like for example, now they're trying to talk with the World Bank. J.P. Morgan basically talking with Sudani Prime Minister, let's send Davos to basically open more accounts for Iraqi bank like internationals and etc. There, but again, all kind of stuff there. We're gonna still need something basically, like we said, we need them to live the 3 zeros in order for them to accept all that. Now we see Saudi Arabia, they're supporting them a lot, but again, I mean, we saw this article even before, Carl, and so many times, so Iraq is on the verge to join the World Trade Organization. Iraq is on the verge to do this and that, but it's all talk. There's no action, and
Right.
that's a problem. I mean, they can do whatever they need to do, but we all know you will never be internationally recognized tradable currency if you don't basically accept Article 8. And then, in order for you to be allowed to enter to Article 8 from the IMF compliance, you have to let the 3 zeros and basically phase out the 3 zero note and do the exchange rate in order for you to do that. So this is what basically what you're looking for. But when you have this kind of article coming up, right there you'll see that yeah, there's an obstacle there. What's basically holding the Iraqi dinar, for example, from appreciation, right? From
Mm-hmm.
going ahead and go international. And until now, I mean, if they want to, if they want to control the black market call, and they can do that. If they force everybody, like right now, they're talking about, oh, nobody can use dollars, but still, it's not basically working because it's all talk. Like, see, in the Middle East, the culture is if you have the connections, nobody can talk to you. So let's say if I'm a politician, right? Those kind of laws they don't apply to me. So even if the CBI says, let's say, oh, you're not going to use dollars, but let's say I'm a high-ranking official in Iraq, guess what? I can do whatever I want. Nobody
Right.
can tell me what to do. You dare to talk to me something? I mean, I got my own bodyguards, I have my own army, and this is the problem. You got like, for example, mobs in Iraq, those kind of basically corrupted, and each one of them they're very powerful because they got the money. Of course, they made the money from corruption for so many years, right? And each one of them they have their own army, and nobody can dare talk to them, right? You'll be surprised. Like they have probably 20 bodyguards. They have like how many drivers? Like they have the whole army basically protecting them. And just think about that, Carl. $21 billion divided by all those politicians. So just imagine each one of them how much money they got right now, right? And they're so greedy too, they don't want to even stop and live the 3 zeros so the country can move forward, right? And
And
this is the problem. But I'm hoping that someone comes up, right, and be like really patriot, and he'll be very serious, strict, and move forward for it's basically lifting the 3 zeros so the country can move forward. But until now, I don't see that person coming in yet.
so that's the question for me. You read all these great articles, and there is great stuff going on. You hear about Ernst and Young coming in, and I guess they're going to set up something, audit the Raffadane Bank, State Bank. You hear about all these investors and big corporations and things flooding into Iraq, other countries, wanting to invest in Iraq. And at some point, you have to ask yourself, when will this type of corruption cease to exist with all this positive stuff? It's almost like Iraq is a child. Hey, did you clean your room? Yeah, I'm cleaning my room right now. I'm vacuuming. In a minute, I'm going to be hanging my clothes up, and then in a few minutes, I'm gonna make my bed. And it's like, when will the room be clean? When will the room be clean? Well, I'm almost there. I got to get a few things out from under my bed, and it just keeps dragging on. I hate to make the analogy of a child cleaning the room, but you're hearing all these things that you want to hear. They're saying all the right things, but the final steps of getting this thing across the finish line seem to just always escape us at every turn. I was reading also on Al Samaria. Today, Thursday, a member of the Parliamentary Integrity Committee, Sarwa Abdel Wahid, explained the reality of selling votes in the session to select the Speaker of Parliament. And while she indicated that there was no possibility of presenting a compromise candidate for the presidential position, she touched on the Iranian bombing of Erbil. I mean, she goes on to say in her interview openly on the broadcast by Al Samaria TV that the federal government is weak in protecting Iraqi lands from external aggression. And what happened in Erbil claimed the lives of children and women. So they are supposed to be more decisive stances, indicating that a step submitting a complaint to the Security Council is good, but it needs follow-up for the purpose of not repeating such an attack, whether on the region or in any other government. And she said the weakness of the regional government is what helped it be attacked in this daily manner by neighboring countries. And the silence from the politicians or the people in power about previous attacks made it go further to desecrate the lands, adding, the matter is not new to Iran regarding the issue of bombing Iraqi lands, especially the region, because it is certain that which political parties are supportive of it. And she just continues on, just talking about how there's no action to protect, sovereign Iraqi lands from Iran. And is that because Iran is so involved inside of the Iraqi government and parliament and the influence that people who are in position of powers that are there to defend Iraqi sovereign land just turn, a blind eye and say, let them bomb Erbil, let them do what they want to do to our lands because we're all in bed together. You got to wonder about that. You know what I mean? That says a lot that she came out and said that. She was brave enough to say that on TV there. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? I mean, that can't be good for our investment if they're willing to let Iran just bomb in Erbil or anywhere in the region.
And that's absolutely correct. See, this is another point here, which is I did, hit on last time when I say that Iran is controlling Iraq. And look at this. I mean, just a small example. Another country hitting another sovereign country, but nobody can say nothing, right? Nothing can say nothing about it. Not even the international world can say nothing about it because Iran was controlling Iraq. And then just think about it. I mean, how are you gonna move forward economically and live the 3 zeros when you have no stability there, right? And they do that again, like I said last time. All the time they come up with excuse. All the time when you have the country, let's say financially stable, security stable there, something happened, so they can basically delay and keep delaying this. Like just this one here, I could delay a lot of stuff. And this to give you another indication, and to prove my point from last time that Iran control Iraq. Unless Iran basically leave Iraq alone, right? And I hope I'm wrong. I mean, we'll never any kind of movement toward like our investment because all the time that Iran they involved, they control Iraq, they control every entity. Now, a lot of people they don't know this, but Carl, when Maliki was in office, um, he brought in more than 8,000 Iranian citizens, and he basically make them become an Iraqi citizen, right? Just
Mm-hmm.
to give them all this sensitive, basically entities. Like for example, in the Central Bank of Iraq, you got in the media, you get in the Ministry of Planning, every sensitive entity in Iraq, right? He basically plans someone there or a group of people that basically they're like a spy, right? And they're the one that control everything. And they're mostly Iranian, but he basically made them Iraqi citizens so they can basically do that. And remember, Maliki was in office for 8 years. He basically damaged the whole country, right? And then everything's under the influence of Iran. Of course, everybody knows Maliki is a puppet of Iran. And then to prove this point, remember we did talk about this, Carl, last time when Dr. Shabibi was about to pull the trigger and live the 3 zeros. Then, with for no reason at all, Maliki basically issued a warrant to arrest him while I believe he was like in Asia, Shabibi at that time for a summit or conference, whatever the case was there. So this is what Maliki is. So this point you have to keep that in mind because a lot of our investors right now, a lot of other forms, they don't talk about this. They don't talk about Iranian influence and how that really affects our investment, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is you give just a great example right now. You go to Erbil, you go to Kurdistan, you bomb the hell out of everybody, you kill the innocent, but nobody talked to you. That
Right.
doesn't make any sense. Now let's assume the other way around. Imagine Iraqi bombing Iran or Tehran, right? You know what could have happened, right? Like it could be like World War III.
Right.
They'll probably wipe out the whole Iraq. But the
Mm-hmm.
other way around, nobody can do because why Iran control Iraq big time. Then to get to the other point that you're talking about, the speaker of the parliament or whatever the president, and this is what I said last time. It's not election, it's selections. They
Right.
sit and they basically do an auctions. Oh, how much are you gonna pay? Right?
Right.
How much are you gonna pay so we can put you there? And this is all about money. It's like when you go to auction, right? And there's like a picture there. They try basically to auction that picture, and everybody try to, I'm gonna raise you at 10,000, 20,000. And here we're talking about Carl, like $100 million to we're talking about the big amount chunk of money. You're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars you have to pay for every seat. If you want to be in the parliament, you have to pay in order for you to win in the parliament. That's why you get all the time the corrupted in the parliament. You don't have the right person. Even if you have the right person, he cannot do anything because the bad they're more better than the good ones, right?
They have more
But
money.
again, I mean, we hope for this investment, for our investment, for the sake of all of us that were invested in Iraqi dinar, that someone someday somehow they come in and they say, you know what, we're gonna go ahead and eliminate the corruptions, and we're gonna move forward with our economy and not the 3 zeros. Like right now, the only time we saw left in the 3 zeros on that article what we brought last time, which is last week. But until now, nobody is talking again about it, right? Like, what do we need to do in order for us to live the 3 zeros? But again, you can talk about a lot of stuff, joining World Trade Organizations. You can move this and that, but again, it's not going to work if you don't really work hard and start the process of lifting the 3 zeros, so that way you can move your country forward.
Right. It, and maybe I'm wrong here, but when they said we're de-dollarizing after January 1st, well, shouldn't that have helped with the parallel markets? If people can't use dollars, why the hell would they go and buy dollars then? Shouldn't that have stopped if they can't use dollars?
Absolutely, and this is a good point. That's why we keep mentioning all the time because in Iraq there's so many corruptions, right? And I just example for this one. Let's say if I'm a politician, right, and I own a bank, and I have big influence in Iraq. Now that the central bank law that they're talking about, that basically good only for regular citizen, the weak citizen that they cannot do anything. But that
Mm-hmm.
one is not going to go on me as a politician. I'm strong. I got the power. You dare tell me what to do. And see, this is a problem in the Middle East. If you have the connections, if you have the, especially those politicians, the CBI, they can come up with so many memos, they can come up with so many laws, right?
Right.
But guess what? Who's going to implement those laws? If the politicians, they don't do that. And now we're almost what, January 18th, and everybody remember like 2 3 weeks ago in December, other gurus, other forums are talking about, oh my God, let's say they took their article and run with it because they said, oh, they're gonna no more dollars, no more auctions, and they're gonna revalue, they're gonna remove that and this. But this is Iraq. We should learn. Not anything you see from Iraq is true. You're gonna have a lot of garbage, a lot of BS kind of articles, right? They talk. I mean, they're excellent in talking in the Middle East, especially in Iraq. They come
Right.
up and they say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But there's, again, no action because they cannot do anything. They're all involved in the crime, right? It's like
Hmm.
all of them. And everybody cover each other, right? They got like a part, basically part of that pie. Imagine $21 billion, what it can do. How many politicians, right? 21 billion, and we're talking about dollars. I mean,
Hmm.
this is just crazy. I mean, just think about it, how much money, which is, I gave you example last time, even when Shabibi was in office, I remember some days he used to have $500 million worth of auctions per day. I mean,
Hmm.
just imagine. And then they used to buy it at 1168 when Shabibi was there, and they used to sell 1200, 1300.
Right.
Imagine the profit that they're making. And this article, of course, does confirm what we're talking about right here. But I mean, hopefully, again, they're talking. Some people they're talking about good stuff like some like in the parliament. But again, they don't control that, and that is a problem. I mean, we have to get rid of Iran, we have to get rid of the corruptions, right? And we have to move forward and at least take care of your citizen. And but the money is a lot of money here too. I mean, again, I want to be honest with you. I'm not sure how they're going to do this. I mean, how are they going to pull this out when you have a lot of money involved? And again, you cannot cancel the auction totally. Like right now, there
No.
was a CBI that came up too with a statement that gradually they're trying to eliminate the platform of the auction. But again, he can do whatever you need to do. But if you don't lift the three zeros and go international, it's not going to work.
No, you're
And
gonna you're right back to doing it again.
absolutely. And like I said last time, you got a lot young generation right now. They're born like 2003, 2004. They like born and so dollars. That's it. They're like hooked to the dollar. Dollar is like their own currency. They don't even believe it with the dollar. And there's a
Right.
problem. You get the new generation, they don't even believe in dinar. They don't even know about the dinar like it was $3 to maybe their grandfather, their fathers, whatever. But this young generation, they don't care. They want to just job. They care about the dollar, right?
Hmm.
Unless yeah, and you have to have a lot of education to do. And these people, they're really very lazy and they're tired and sick from the government because since 2003 until now, they don't have like a decent prime minister. They don't have a decent government. They don't have like anybody like honest, right? They're all corrupted. They
Right.
don't
They're gonna
even
look out
trust their
for him.
own bank. Waraka Bank, for example, right? You get money. Even for me, I do have money there. I do have Iraqi dollars in the Waraka Bank. I'll be honest with you. I cannot pull my money out. I have them since so many years. I got there's a lot of Iraqi citizens right now. They cannot. So just imagine people they had $100 million, $200 million in Waraka Bank, and they cannot even withdraw their money. They cannot even take like a $10 million. The bank said we have no liquidity. So just imagine this is an example here. If one bank does that to their own citizens, so how do you think the citizens are they going to trust the bank? Of course not. They're not going to trust the government. And here's the problem: is it's not only like, oh, you know, let the 3 zeros move on. It's not. You have to educate it. You have to make your people to trust the bank, and none of them trust their bank. And I'm
Well,
giving an
that's just
example, Waraka Bank, and this is one of the example. And other banks, the same thing. They don't even give loans. It's all talks. They just basically participate in the auctions, right? And they make money in the black market. That's it. But other than that, there's no loans. There's nothing at all. People struggling. You see, like 10 years old guy. He has like 4 or 5 kids. He's his dad is he passed away a long time ago. He's selling water in the street so he can survive with his
right.
family, right? And this is the thing. And this is supposedly one of the richest country. And a lot of people probably know this, but Iraq is one of the richest countries in the world. Believe it or not, they're even more richer than Saudi Arabia. But of course, Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia, they're more organized. And again, the difference between Iraq and Saudi Arabia and Kuwait and Qatar, all the time when you have a Sunni, you got Sunni and Shia, right? Shia, they're not good. With all the respect, they're not good for the. And you can see the proof in Syria, in Lebanon, in Iraq, in Yemen. Look at the Gulf country. When you have a Sunni government in control, they're totally different, right?
Right.
You don't see like I was 2 years ago. I went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai. There, I was there. You go, by the way, you see a lot of like Pakistani Indians. You don't see any native UAE working regular job. You'll never find that, right? And they do have an investment. Basically, they have an investment law, and UAE is one of the best investment law. For example, Carl, let's say you are like an American citizen, British citizen. You go there, you want to open a business. Now, in order for you to get the license, you have to have a UAE citizen sponsor you. In order for you to
Mhm.
get the license, now that sponsor, of course, it's not going to be like part of business, but you have to pay him in order for you to do that. So this person he might tell you, okay, I need $100,000 a year in order for me to give you the business, right? So imagine if every UAE citizen sponsored 3 or 4 foreigners to open a business. He doesn't have to do anything because the government they give him basically one of the best investment law, and you can basically have all your citizens sit and not work anything and let everybody else work for you. And you'll
Mhm.
never see homeless in UAE. You'll never see homeless in Kuwait. You'll never see homeless in Saudi Arabia, right? You're going to see a lot of homeless in Syria, in Iraq, in Lebanon, in Yemen, right? So what's the
Mhm.
difference? Sunni and Shia. And that's the problem. And this is the again why I'm talking about all this culture, Carl, because a lot of people think it's only lifting the 3 zeros. Oh, we're going to be rich next. No, it's not. But you have to look at the obstacle. This all the stuff that I'm explaining to you right here. I mean, how are you going to get rid of all that?
Right.
This is the problem that we're having right now. You have to get rid of Iran. That's why the biggest mistake what George Bush did when he invaded Iraq, he gave Iraq to the Shia. Shia, they're not good. If you
Right.
get this is Sunni, right? And that was a problem. If believe me right now, I'm telling you, if the Sunni were like in charge in Iraq, we probably could have seen the revaluation a long time ago done.
So how do you go about getting the Sunnis in power? I mean, how would that happen? Is it even possible in
That's
Iraq?
this is the thing because remember since 2003, George Bush he gave it to the Shia, which they never even had any power at that time when Saddam Hussein was they couldn't even dare to say anything. He was controlling all of them, but now they're in control. I'm not sure how you're going to do that. And just believe me, I mean, don't look at Iraq. Just look at those countries that Iran control. You don't have to believe me, but look at the lifestyle, right? Look at the economy. I give you an example. Syrian pounds. It used to be every dollar is about 50 Syrian pounds. You know how much is it now? It's
Mm.
6,000 pounds per dollar. 6,000. So imagine. And Lebanon, the same thing. Look at this country. Look at Iraq. Look at Yemen. And all they're controlled by Iran. And this is a problem, right? I mean, unless the only things I can see maybe if Iran really have become very good relationship with Saudi Arabia and then change their policy, which is I don't see that happening. They might have like a good relation, but you know how they are. You have two different kind of people. You have these people that they come to you, they like to suck your blood, steal you, and not educate you.
Yep, I
And
lost
they
you.
want you as like the liberals in the US. They don't want you to be
Right.
rich, they want you to be poor, they get all these illegal immigrants coming in, right? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So they can vote. Because when I give you cash aid, food stamp, all kind of medical, right? I
Right.
control you. I can do whatever I want. And right
Right.
now, also, even we switch a little bit subject here, but might be very close. Like in California, uh, you got, I believe, like the governor there. He was basically ordering every bank to basically make loans easy for illegal immigrants. So if you're an illegal immigrant, you go to any bank in California, you want a loan, right? They'll give you the loan. But someone that pay taxes and everything, they might give you a hard time. And this is how it is in Iraq. Why they do that? Because they want to control you. You control. If I control you, that's it. You can vote for me. You don't have to do. And you always, I'll put you basically in the low class, because if you become rich, I cannot control you anymore, right?
Right.
And this is what's going on in those. But the good things about the Sunni, they don't think that way. Like one time, Kuwaiti prince, one morning, Carl, he came up and he said, "Whoever got loans from the government, it's all basically wiped. We're gonna forgive you." And then one day you wake up and said, everybody go to the grocery store. You can fill out the cart, whatever you want. The government will pay for it. Something like that. So just imagine. But we don't see that in Iraq. You don't see that in Syria. I got a lot of friends, a lot of families in Syria, Iraq. Like I'm telling you right now, they're struggling. They're hardly $2 a day. The electricity, basically, they don't have electricity every day. Like every day, they got maybe 4 or 5 hours of electricity in Lebanon and Syria, right? In Iraq, the same thing. Like some places, I mean, they have even nothing. When they get to 120 degrees, like in Basra, it's one of the hottest city in the world in summertime. It gets to about 140 degrees, 130 degrees, Carl. People have no air conditioning. They have nothing. And but you'll never see something like that on those countries. Sultanate Oman, you got Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, right? Emirates, UAE, and you got Bahrain, and you got Saudi Arabia. You'll never see any homeless there. And that's the difference, my friend. And that's one of the obstacles to that. In order for us to see the investment moving forward, you have to make sure that Iran, they're not involved. Can you do that? I don't know. So again, and I mean, eventually it might happen. It has to happen one day, right? But again, we don't know. That's why we have to take it 1 year at a time to see what's going to happen. But those examples, you should consider those. If you have an investment in Iraqi dinar and you look at the stuff there and you think it's going to happen every day, it's not going to happen every day, basically, this stuff. But again, you have to look at the obstacle, what's going on here. And
Right.
that's why I give you an example right now. You got 3, 4 countries, they're totally different. Why Iraq has to be different than UAE, right? Just think about it. They're like a third world country, and they're the
Right.
richest country in the world because Iran didn't want them to succeed. That's why I'm
Right.
giving you this example. So
Yeah.
those kind of stuff, Carl, is very important to a lot of investors. They're right to educate themselves, so that way they'll know what's going on, right? And those kind of cultures, unfortunately, a lot of investors they don't know about it. They know that I got a back screen, I got lower denomination, the ATM. It's not like that, right? You have
Right.
to educate yourself, do your due diligence, right? And then it's all up to you, whatever you want to believe, right? At the end, it's all up to you, not to me, not to you. My job is to give you the right information. I'm from there, my culture is there, and I'm giving you here example about those countries. A lot of you might sit today and think about it and say, "Wait a minute! Oh, wow, that's right. I never see any homeless in Kuwait. Why is he homeless in Iraq?
Right.
Right? And that's what's going on, Carl."
Yep. So, I mean, that's a lot of great information, Delta. I appreciate it. It really gives you a lot of backstory to kind of understand what it is you're saying. So, real quick, to the de-dollarization that was supposed to take place January 1st, today, Al Samaria News put out in their economy page on January 18, 2024, dollar prices fell with the opening of the Al Khifa and Al Harithia stock exchanges to record 151,700 dinars for $100, while selling prices in exchange shops in the local markets in Baghdad decreased as the selling price reached 152,750 Iraqi dinars, while purchasing prices reached 150,750 dinars for every $100. It goes on, it says, on February 7th, the Council of Ministers announced its approval of amending the dollar exchange rate to 1320 dinars per dollar for about a year, and specifically since the central bank began operating the electronic platform and the International Financial Transfer System, SWIFT, the dollar exchange rates in Iraq have not witnessed stability despite the attempts of the government and the central bank to control the exchange rate in the parallel markets. So here you are. We're still plagued with parallel markets. And if I understood everybody correctly, as I said just a few minutes ago, I thought this January 1st parallel markets were going away because the dollar was going away in Iraq. Everybody was going to be made to use the dinar. Everybody. So to me, it sounds like parallel markets are still booming. You know what I mean? They're still booming. Somebody's still making a lot of money in the black market. So does that mean we haven't de-dollarized as we were told? I mean, how do you know? This right here came out today, and it's saying the parallel markets are still alive and well. Your thoughts?
Absolutely, Carl. I mean, this is what we're talking about exactly. And I mean, we talk about it. You'll never control the parallel market unless you basically control the corruption to the politician, which is that's impossible. The other option is, which is we know that the solution actually is lifting the three zeros, because then you have no parallel market anymore, right? You're gonna basically have an exchange rate dinar in Iraq, will be internationally recognized. You can just sell dollars if you go outside. It's like exactly in the U.S. Dollar is a dollar no matter what, and Iraq will be that. But until they live the three zeros, you'll never see they control that. And this is an example, right? This is over what, year and a half now, like year and 2 months, let's say 1 month since they changed the rate. They revalue a little bit to 13.10, whatever it is, but it's not working. As I know, it will never work. Just mark my words, it will never work unless
Right.
if they do those things that we mentioned. And right there, telling you, and a lot of people that are thinking that January 1st is going to come up because they say they're going to control the market, the parallel market, and you think that they're going to revalue because of this. It's not going to happen. And again, this is very important. And one of the compliance as well, like I said, if you want to do that before you accept Article 8 and all kind of stuff, you have to be in the 2% for a period of time. I believe like was 90 days or 6 months. I'm not sure about the timing, but you have to be basically stable for a while before you do that when you basically try to get to Article 8 and left in the three zeros, etc. Right?
Right.
But again, I mean, we get the same issues all the time, and we have been here since 2019, 2020, the same thing every year. Year the same thing. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. Nothing happened. When they have election, they all the time delay. They're trying to buy seats, right? Corruptions. Every time when someone comes up and talk basically good stuff like we're gonna live the three zero, someone shut them up, right? Like in those media in Iraq. Oh no, it's not a good idea because of course they're gonna eliminate that. So this is it, and we know what it is. And now you're gonna have more people coming up talking about it. But the $1 million question is who's going to come in and be a patriot for Iraq and really love his country and do that?
Right.
Uh, until now, I don't see none because everybody, they're very greedy, selfish, care about themselves, right? And that's a problem in Iraq. It's the problem in Iraq too. They'll steal the whole pie. They don't even give you something. I mean, if you're stealing, okay, that's why you're stealing every other thing. But why don't you take care of your people at least a little bit? Imagine
Right.
$21 billion, what he could have done, right? But they basically sent to themselves, to the kids, to the family, and leaving most majority of the citizens of Iraq basically starving and basically very low income kind of stuff there. You get this rich and you get poor. They have not even middle class.
Right.
And this is what basically it is. And this is I'm gonna give you more and more confirmation that there's only one solution, and all of us are waiting for that solution is lifting the three zeros. Until they do that, you'll never see them controlling anything, unfortunately. But again, it might happen. We're gonna wait and see, Carl, how this is gonna fold off, and we're gonna keep in touch. Basically, we're gonna bring articles to the family, Carl, every time, and all the time. Like last time too, Carl. I really appreciate you because
Yep.
I really love your channel. I love your honesty, straightforward, right, right to the point, not going around, right. And this is what I like about you, about this channel, and this is what I like to basically talk to our investors. So this is what basically you're gonna hear from us here: a clear picture, straightforward, no hype. You might like what you hear, you might not, but we're gonna give it to you as is, no matter what, right? And then it's
Right.
all up to you to believe whatever we're telling you here or not. Our job is just to give you the message, and then it's all up to you to accept it or not to accept it.
Right. Delta, I thank you, brother. I love you for coming on. I appreciate everything you do for us. I really
Oh,
do.
my pleasure. It's an honor, Carl, and God bless you, my brother, and God give you the strength. And thank you very much for bringing this channel, and it's the only channel that giving the right and straight information to all the investors. God bless you, and God bless your family, my friend.
God bless you, Delta. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, sir.
Bye bye. All right, guys, there you had it. Delta joining us. I hope you guys found I hope you found that useful. You know what I mean? It's not to be negative. It's none of that's to be negative. It's just to give you another perspective of what's going on in the ground there. Those aren't the type of news articles that we normally get, when we watch these other platforms. So I just wanted to bring you that. Guys, again, I didn't mean to be rude to you. I just care. I care immensely. I care about your train of thought. I care about your health. I care about where your head is in this investment. I don't want to see one person throw their dinar away. You know what I mean? I don't want to see that. I do believe that this will happen. I do believe that somebody will come forward at some point and change all these things. You know, hopefully, if, you know, the right president gets in office here in this country in the election in November, they can help to get Iraq on the same page, to get them in, you know, correct working order and weed out what needs to be weeded out and bring this to a close. So we'll pray for that, right? Guys, I'm going to let you go. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. I want to thank Delta for being here. Have a wonderful night, guys. We'll talk to you here real soon, actually. See you later. Currency with a Twist is out of here. Yeah.